Okay, so all these kind of auspicious good things in this month. Today I finished translating one short text from Kyobpa Rinpoche. I started yesterday, and then, I started looking at it a few days ago. And then yesterday I looked at it more seriously, and then, on my way back I got stuck in Fort Worth for one night because my connection left by the time I arrived. So I spent a night in Fort Worth, Dallas, and so got delayed. But anyway, I was looking at this one short text in the Kyobpa Rinpoche's collected teachings, and here I can airdrop to those of you who belong to the same club. Sorry to the rest of you, but I'll read out loud, and then later I will, and then someone can send it to the WhatsApp. Let's see. Do I see anyone? I see Nathan. I see Joseph. I see Judy. I see Laura. It's waiting for Laura to act. Now it's act. Okay. I see Nat. And someone can please share to DDIS WhatsApp group. I see Tammy. Do you see it, Tammy? Oh, okay, good.
One page.
Yes, just one page. There was right at the beginning, there was this one word that I could not make sense of it. So thankfully I reached out to Lowell, the head translator of the group. He was here when His Holiness was here. Him and his Tibetan wife and two kids, two boys. I don't know if you'll notice, but Lowell was here. Anyway, I reached out to him and he was able to help. So this text is called, and this is really a very, very much Kyobpa Rinpoche. So that when you read this, you go, yes, of course it's him. And so what's the title? The title is Emptiness and Karmic Causality Arising Clearly as Indivisible is Wondrous Awakening. Emptiness and karmic causality arising clearly as indivisible is wondrous awakening. Emptiness on the one hand, karmic causality arising clearly, these two being indivisible. This is wondrous awakening. This is the beauty of enlightenment. Namo Ratna Guru, homage to the precious guide, Namo Ratna Guru. All the various karmic propensities of high and low. Karmic propensities are these habitual patterns, bakchak in Tibetan. So they are the karmic propensities, the habits that we have accumulated over time. Often when we use this expression bakchak, karmic propensities, it's often used in a negative sense, like generally speaking. But for Kyobpa Rinpoche, he doesn't necessarily use the word bakchak. Even our translators sometimes get misled and think that when you almost always when you see the word bakchak, it has a negative connotation. But for Kyobpa Rinpoche, it's not. Bakchak is just bakchak. There can be virtuous bakchak and non-virtuous bakchak. So keep that in mind here. So he says, all the various karmic propensities of high and low. And so that's what he means. And so High karmic propensities means like virtuous, low like lowly, base, karmic propensities, arrive when your meditation attains one taste. So one taste, it's hard to tell over here whether it's used in the context of the 4 Yogas of Mahamudra stages, or as a general term for like a very profound like level of realization. Not exactly Buddhahood yet. That much we know. So one taste is like the one taste of liberation. And so you find that in the sutras. Buddha will use that expression as in, when you have tasted that, then you know. And it's the same for everyone when they have tasted this liberation from confusion. But also in the Mahamudra context, as taught by Kyobpa, he divides the stages of progression into 4 stages, known as the 4 yogas. The first one is called single-pointedness. The second one is called non-elaboration. And the third one is one taste. And the fourth one is non-meditation. So here, we're not sure. But it doesn't matter, because it means at a very advanced level, at least. So all the various karmic propensities of high and low arrive when your meditation attains one taste. Arrive. This was the word that stumped me. And I had to ask Lo. He looked at all the dictionaries, like not just Tibetan English, which I have access to, no help. Tibetan to Tibetan, also very hard. Kyobpa Rinpoche's teachings has all these like ancient words that now people have forgotten what they actually mean. This sense of arrive, here, just to show you the discussion that I was having with Lo this afternoon. It has the sense of at first I have it as destroyed. So all the various karmic propensities of high and low are destroyed. Yeah? And that is the example of myself forgetting that for Kyobpa Rinpoche, karmic propensities is not definitely negative. Yeah? When I remembered that, I was like, wait, destroy is probably not the meaning of this word. Some possibilities is like, then Lo suggested maybe dissolve. So he too was thinking Bhakchat is negative, dissolve. Then I said, what about manifest? And not really. I said, what about emerge, as in you can see? Yeah, they emerge, they become obvious when you reach one taste. And he thinks that, yeah, it could be that based on the context. It says, the dictionary does give words like enter, arrive, and sustain. For this word, longwa in Tibet. Or awaken is possible, not like Buddhahood awaken, but awaken. Or emerge, or arrive. And so he said, funny how dissolve and emerge are practically opposites. So we decided arrive is good in its ambiguity. As in, they arrive and you can see them, you know. Almost like he says, emerge is, arrive has a more neutral sense, whereas emerge has a more positive sense and dissolve has a more negative sense. I say, okay, let's leave it at arrive. They arrive, that means they turn up for you in that sense. But to say that much would be too much. And to say that they turn up for you, you know, it's saying more than what the original is saying. So anyway, we come back to all the various karmic propensities of high and low arrive when your meditation attains one taste. The causes of their arrival are created in the past. The causes of their ripening. So they didn't come from nowhere. You have created them in the past. Just as various virtuous and non-virtuous thoughts arise in the mind stream, happiness and suffering ripens as their results. So now clearly bhakchat is not just negative. It's saying, if your bhakchat has been positive, then happiness turns up. If your bhakchat has been negative, then suffering turns up. Now, when he says, you know, when you reach one taste, then this verb, right? Arrive. It's not saying that before one taste, karma doesn't ripen. So it's not just about ripening. This is talking about you see them clearly. Although he didn't use that word. So it must be an old word that had a certain sense like that you cannot translate so easily, so literally now. So left to the Lama teaching this text to unpack what arrive means. Therefore, the siddhas of bygone times taught the preliminaries of the accumulation of merit and bodhicitta. The seeds and habitual tendencies, again, these terms, seeds and habitual tendencies, by other teachers, other traditions, usually has negative connotations. But for Kyobpa, no. He says, the seeds and habitual tendencies of these preliminaries, referring to the accumulation of merit and bodhicitta, awaken at the time of non-duality. They ripen at the time of non-duality, meaning when you realize non-duality, which is another way of saying one taste. In the great one taste of non-duality, partial views of emptiness are cleared. Sorry, I still use the word purify, are cleared. In the great one taste of non-duality, partial views of emptiness are cleared.
So that means you're clearer about emptiness.
Yes. Yeah, the partial views, the biased views, in other words, the mistaken views. And what is the big mistaken views about emptiness? Which is, emptiness is the ultimate. Kyobpa Rinpoche always comes back again and again that just realizing emptiness is not yet there. It is truly there when you can, within the context of emptiness, see how everything arises, how cause and effect works. For him, that is when finally you have arrived at the state of Buddha. So, mere realization of emptiness is not it. In the great one taste of non-duality, partial views on emptiness, maybe instead of off. Partial views on emptiness are cleared. And emptiness arises as karmic causality. emptiness now appears as karmic causality. Emptiness and karmic causality, inseparable, is what is known as the union of the great vehicle secret mantra. As in the great vehicle secret mantra, in the secret mantra, in the vajrayana, there's this expression, the state of union, the state of unity, the state of coalescence, coalesce, yeah, coming together, right? So what is this coming together? He says, it's the coming together of the realization of emptiness and karmic causality being inseparable. They are two sides of the same coin. Not yet done though. Through completely clearing of grasping at this union. So even if you have realized this union, if there is still grasping to it, not it yet. So you also need to clear grasping at this understanding about what is this union. Through completely clearing of grasping at this union, the three kāyas become indivisible. That is mahāmudrā. Then the Dharma of cause, path, and result become indivisible. What wondrous awakening. Very short text, but very interesting, very profound. And really, this is Kyobpa Rinpoche again and again and again and again. One of the last things he said before he passed, he said, his students asked him, because everyone is supposed to have a brand, so to say, in our contemporary consumerist culture, like talk, right? Everyone has a brand. Right? In other words, in the Tibetan context, it's like every great master has a tenet, like a principle, right? A viewpoint. And so his students, this word is drupta, like philosophical position would be the exact translation, right? Every great master will have a particular philosophical position that they hold. And so then his disciples said, when you're gone and people ask us, what was your master's, tenet? And then Kyobpa Rinpoche said, tell them he has no tenets. First thing, he has no tenets. Yeah? And this speaks to, through completely clearing of grasping at this union. So you realize this state of union, but you also need to let that go now. And don't turn that into a tenet. And you see this, in the 16 stages, for example, in the early Buddhist material of the for example, in the Buddha teaching the 16 steps of using breath, right? It's like cessation is 15. The cessation of confusion, of suffering, of kleshas, all of that. And you think, well, okay, home free is already cessation. What else is there? No, there's step 16. It's called relinquishing. You even have to relinquish. After cessation, still relinquish. So here, through completely clearing of grasping at this union. And so Kyobpa Rinpoche, he says, tell them, no, he doesn't have any tenets. Then he said, then the disciple said, but what if they insist? Now, come on. Yeah. Everybody says they don't have tenets. Which is also true. Everybody says they don't have tenets because as much as the study of tenets, the study of doctrine, is highly valued because there is one branch of the Buddhist tradition, it's like the Oxford and the Cambridge of India, right? All the great minds of the great philosophers, all the great scholars. So of course, They have philosophical positions that they hold on to. But even in the midst of that, they would all say, but we don't have any tenets. Yeah, they will say that. And the biggest irony is, of course, Nagarjuna, right? The one who uses the approach of negating in debates, negate. He says, I don't hold any tenets, but I will dismantle any and every single tenet that you bring here. Yeah? I will dismantle all your tenets. From the uneducated, as in spiritually uneducated, not worldly, philosophical positions, like unexamined philosophical positions that you keep, such as like things happen for no rhyme or reason, or things happen when you have bad luck, and other things happen when you have good luck. That is a form of tenet. Up to very thought out philosophical positions, Nagarjuna says, I'm here to tear them apart. Because they are all just projections of the mind. Now, ironically, Nagarjuna's position of non-position is now considered by mainstream Tibetan Buddhists to be the highest position. So Nagarjuna's way is called the Madhyamaka, the middle way, and that's the highest of the four tenets. Okay? So Mr. No Tenet has been turned into a tenet. And not only that, within that is divided further into until the highest tenet, right, which is the consequentialist middle way, Prasangika, Madhyamaka. So Jikten Sumgön, back to him, his disciple said, but no, they are not going to accept us saying that there's no tenet. Everybody says that, but they don't mean it. So Jikten Sumgön says, okay, if they insist that you say something about what tenet, what kind of philosophical position I have, and he says, then my philosophical position, my tenet then is emptiness arises as cause and effect, which is this. Tell them that. So if you go to Buddhist festivals, and people hold up a Dharma gun at you and point at you, what tenet do you accept? And if you want to say something, then you say, emptiness arises as cause and effect. Emptiness manifests as cause and effect. As karmic causality. Yes.
So I'm kind of hearing a warning in this. Can you confirm, is it saying that if you manage to achieve one taste and you haven't cleared your karma yet, you're going to be in immense suffering?
It's not so much that you're in immense suffering. Like, if you think you have achieved this position of one taste, yeah, but you are not able to see all the intricate details of karmic causality, then you're not there yet. Yeah. Because one taste has, the experience of one taste is, of course, related to emptiness. Emptiness is the one taste. Right? As in, appearances are manifold, right? But the nature of those experiences is one, which is emptiness. Lack of inherent existence. But that realization of lack of inherent existence, there can be very superficial realization, and there can be the real one taste. In the real one taste, you see, so that's why it arrive. All the various karmic propensities of high and low arrive when your meditation attains one taste, as in the genuine one taste. They arrive in that sense. Yeah, you can see them all clearly.
Is that another way of saying omniscience?
All-knowingness, yes. Yeah, omniscience, yeah. And omniscience, again, in the Buddhist context, is not so much about, don't you think Buddha doesn't know what you did last night? Not in the sense of like Buddha is spying on you, you better behave yourself. Okay? Which is like in other religions when they say God is omniscient, it's basically, don't you think he doesn't know what you did?
So Santa Claus.
Yeah, it's not that. Okay? Here, omniscience or all-knowing is about knowing cause and effect. What causes end up with what results, and what results came from what causes. That's the main point of Buddha's being all-knowing. Buddha's being omniscient. Yeah. So not about Buddha knowing your credit card number and you got to put it in the, Buddha approved, cover. So that Buddhas cannot steal your credit card number.
Tease out and take knot,
Yes.
get single strings.
On the second stanza, awaken on the last line, is that the same word, the bakchak?
The seeds and habitual tendencies are these preliminaries awaken at the time of non-duality. Let me see, what is the original Tibetan, yeah? Okay. Mantra saman bakchate nisumepe dusu se. Yeah, good question, Joseph. Nimerochi. I'm going to use a different word because precisely for that reason, it will cause misunderstanding. No, it's not the same word as like Buddhahood awaken.
Okay.
Yeah, so I need to use a different word. Good. I'm trying to put this into the collection that we will be publishing very soon.